it. You guys are ostracized. That I used to have a pet peeve. I'm trying to think of like the pet peeves that I have like generally speaking. I don't think I can come up with one. Like I don't typically get annoyed with anybody about anything.
I get annoyed so much.
And but when I used to go on dates, first date, second dates, like the beginning of like the dating period, if they took off of my food. Like if they reached over and touched my plate,
who does that?
I mean, it's happened.
He got over that. He got over that.
No. If we're already like it's established and we're already comfortable, and you know we've established a level of like comfort and intimacy and like all that stuff. You know, in general, like. I'll even offer. I'll even be like, you want some of this?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Because like we're here now. You know what I mean? But like if I don't know you, like that, and this is like our first or second date or third date or fourth date, and we still haven't like really like committed to this, and we're having a decent. It's always the worst when it's good conversation, and then all of a sudden they're like, well, anyway, and I'm just like,
but that's what I mean. Like they're not asking. They just reach.
Yeah, they just reach.
True.
Here's the thing, like. I'll still ask Brenda. And I'll be like, hey, can I have a bite? Who just reaches?
It's
like,
happened.
I understand eventually, like, you'll, like, yeah, if you know each other well enough, like, you just share, like, food, whatever. You can have some of my plate. I'll have it. But I'll still ask.
Yeah, well, actually, even now.
And it really, like, it stops me in my tracks. And I'm just like, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I don't know what we've been talking about. I just
forgot everything.
The last 10 minutes of us, like, going on banter,
out the window.
Did not register. Now the only thing that I'm thinking is the audacity that you had to just reach over. If you want, like, I'm taking you out. If you wanted that, order that on top of what you already ordered. Yeah, I would have gotten it. It's cool. Yeah, like go for it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna judge you. But like that was mine. Like I wanted to eat that.
That is just so. Who does that?
You know? And,
I just don't.
And I'm
understand.
just like who? You know what I mean? And they keep talking.
No,
they're just like and then they're just like, but anyway, blah blah blah. And I'm just like, I don't hear anything you're saying right now.
You shouldn't.
Like, you know? And granted, I have to like level myself off a little bit, and I'll just be like, just end and end the night on a good note.
Do you bring it up?
No, because I feel like I'm being like at that point I might be like too nitpicky, and I'm afraid. No, because okay, and this might be like a completely different thing. Men are on a test whenever they're on dates, like on a test to try to figure.
But here's
I feel like most people are though. They should be.
Here's a thought. Yeah, so is whoever you're taking out on a date.
But she gets to control whether there's a second or third date. I don't get to
not
control
necessarily.
that.
I mean, the guy can also call it off.
I get what you're saying, but then here's the thing. The problem with that is that then you're already, what I hear is like, okay, so you just assume that they're like, you already want a second or third date regardless of how the first date goes?
I might not. So you know, to that point, I might decide, well, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this again or whatever, right? But it's such a small, minuscule thing that I might ruin the potential for a second date if I bring that up. Because I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if I'm
gonna date somebody who does that. Because
is that really like a big like? And
well, that's the thing.
That would be a fucking ick. If a guy reaches into my plate without asking,
and that
I would probably make a joke about it. I would bring it up. I would bring it up to make a joke about it, and I would be like, "Oh, so you're just gonna take my food without asking?" Like making a joke. And then if they were to do it again after that without asking, then I'd be like, "Okay, now there's a problem." Because I will joke about something first to try to bring awareness to it without actually making somebody feel bad about it. But bring some awareness to know that that's just not okay. And then if you do it again, then I'm gonna be like, what the fuck,
But if you do it in a joking manner, they might think that it was okay. Then you're just being like,
I don't like,
because then you can joke back to me and you'd be like, can I have a fry? Like,
that's a lack of self-awareness. Because if somebody makes a joke like that, I am thinking like, okay,
there's
why
some
did
truth
they make
behind
that
it.
joke?
There's some truth behind it.
Right.
Or like,
the times that's happened to me, I gotta be honest. The times that's happened to me, I've been so like bewildered by the moment.
Yes.
That I don't know how to like act of it, and
I feel like
the
you're
stuff.
downplaying. Like that is insane. Like that is insane.
And
if somebody reaches, especially first or second, even if you ask me, like if you're like, can I have a bite of your food? I'm gonna be like, I don't really want you to have a. That's weird. This is my food.
So I'm gonna go on the train of thought process here, right? The first thing that comes to mind is what the fuck just happened.
Yeah.
Like. Valid. What the fuck, right? Mm-hmm. And then the second thing that comes to mind is, should I bring this up?
Yeah.
And if I bring it up, does that ruin the? But like, maybe we really do click. Maybe this isn't that big a deal. Like and like, am I gonna ruin the potential, the potential for a second or third date if I bring this up? Thirdly, or like eventually, I get to the point of like, well, like, am I being too dramatic about this? Like, what, you know? And then I get to the point where like, I never even register like I should bring this up as a joke. It doesn't even get there. The thing that does get there though is I'm gonna reach into her plate.
Well, yeah, because you have to assume that they would be okay
I want to
with
see
it.
again. There goes back to the logical inconsistencies.
Yeah.
I want to see if you're okay with this like two-sided. Like if there's a double standard here. Because if I reach over and take a part of your steak and you get pissy, I'm gonna be like, well,
So
looky here.
Yeah.
Look at what we just found. Right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You took a fry, I took a Brussels sprout. What's going on? Are we going at it or no? Like, but I've never actually done it. I've never actually like gotten the courage to be like,
here's why I get
this
it.
is mine.
I get what you would like, what you can be like, like if you're really enjoying someone's company and then they do that and you're like, well, I really liked you up until now. Is that like too nitpicky? But if you look at it, like truly, if you like think about it, you're like, that is such a like lack of manners.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but
and
it
that
also
feels very
depends.
common sense. And in my head, I'm like, when you're dating, like when you're going on like a first, second, third date, like you're trying to make like the best impression ever. Like best impression, you know what I mean? Like you are on your fucking A game. Like you are being the best version of yourself. And I know that that seems like such a small thing, but if the best version of yourself includes you stealing from my fucking plate, that feels like that can't work.
I wouldn't make it that big.
I wouldn't make it.
I wouldn't make it that big of a thing in my head. Like I would bring it up, but it's also just a thing of how people are raised. Like some people are raised, and then you might be raised in this big old family where like people just like, you know, they just share food, they just do it. Like it's a natural thing for them, and it's not a big thing for them to think of. You know, so like I'm not gonna be like,
contextually speaking, like. It might be the first, second, or third date. It might be like the beginning of the dating process, but you guys might have also been texting a fuck ton. So like the level of comfort might have already been like breached to some degree. You guys might have talked about like, you know, over messages, right? Like over, you guys might have video called or been on the phone or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you might have broken a little bit more of the like, of the like comfort level. Okay. But even still, when it's happening.
But what I'm saying is,
I'm saying like that wouldn't make it okay. And here's the thing, I agree. I don't think like I would be like, okay, I'm never seeing you again just because you did that. But I feel like
I couldn't just leave it alone.
I didn't see them again,
I feel
to be
like
fair.
one, I feel like it's fair for it to be like a turnoff or like an ick, you know? And two, like I feel like I agree. Like it might just be the way that like they were raised. You know what I mean? Like that was something like that did not happen in my family. You know what I mean? It was like, no, you have your fucking food. Mind your fucking business. That's your plate. And it's yours. So I would want to know too. Like I would be like, hey, interesting thing you just did. Is this a common thing? I'm just asking.
If
I
you
just want to
are,
know because it really took me, like it caught me off guard.
If you are interested,
I didn't have the stomach for it.
It doesn't have to be like, hey, why the fuck did you do that?
Yeah.
Like,
to be fair, I didn't have the courage, and I think at the time I didn't have the confidence to be able to like put that kind of like assertion out. Yeah. And I think in my mind I was just like, man, if I say the wrong thing, I'm gonna like not be able to like even get a second or third date. So like I've got to like be on my A game. Just let it go. Just let it go.
No, there's a thing also, like if you're interested in this person, you do like this person, and that is something that's like a pet peeve for you that you notice they do, if you don't bring it up, and then you do try to have multiple more dates with them and they keep doing it and it continues to be this thing, then all of a sudden 5 dates in, if they've done it all 5 dates and you all of a sudden on the 5th date are like, what the fuck, and like freak out over it, they're gonna be like, what, this has been happening this whole time.
Right.
Because also, you know? I feel like that's like really early on. Like I feel like that's a good way. Also, talking about it is a good way of seeing like how are they gonna react about it. You know what I mean?
That's why that's why my thought experiment was, let me just get something off their plate.
Not even that, but if I'm like, hey, why are you doing that? I don't like that. I feel like the reaction I would want is like, oh my bad, I didn't realize. Like, it's just so normal for me. Like, I grew up like that, and like I just didn't even think about it.
I guess it could be
Whatever.
endearing if somebody was all like,
If
I am
it was
so
that-
sorry,
if
my
it was-
family, we like, you know what I mean?
If it was a problem for them, and if they were like, why are you fucking overreacting? Like, it's not that big of a deal.
just
Then
a
maybe
fry.
y'all just aren't compatible.
That's what I mean. You know what I mean? It's like, I get that it's such a small thing, but a really small thing can like show you so much more.
You're probably right.
That I'm like, no, I would want to address it. I would want to know right then and there. Because if I bring it up and I'm like, hey, I don't like that, please don't take food from my plate, and then they make it a big deal and they're like, you're fucking overreacting, what, you're not gonna share? Like, I think that's so selfish. Okay, goodbye. Like, that's all I needed to know.
That's fair. That's, you know, you're probably absolutely right. I just didn't have the
Yeah, I feel like it's like I would have been so shocked.
I was caught off guard, and I think I was like in a state of confusion.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, you know what? By the time that I got back to reality, it was been like 10, 15 minutes. She had been talking. I didn't understand what she was saying. So I was like, I got to get back
Like, I missed that whole conversation.
because now I'm the typical guy that doesn't listen. So I got to get back to it. Like, you know what I mean? You know? So I gotta like get back on the ropes. You know what I mean? Like the bell just rang. So like I gotta get back on it.
There's been guys like that, like I've known for like not that long, and like if we're eating or whatever, and they'll ask me, they'll be like, "Are you gonna finish that?" I hate when people ask.
You see
me
what
that.
I'm saying?
Really? I hate it. And even like, listen, I usually like I don't eat a lot in one sitting. Like I eat a lot throughout the day, so like usually I tend to like leave food on the plate. I'm sorry. Okay, I try my best.
No, you know that's not the apologize for.
Yeah.
We
So,
overserve
like,
in this country
if
anyway.
I'm on like relationships and stuff like that, like I'll usually be like, I'm not gonna finish this off. Do you want the rest? Like I'm not, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to throw it away. But when people ask me, like I haven't offered it. When especially guys, I mean, I guess it doesn't really happen with girls. Like, you know what I mean? Because if they do it to my friends, then I'm usually just offering. Yeah. But if I'm on a date or like seeing this guy and he is like, are you gonna finish that?
It turns you off?
I don't like it. I can't explain why, but I don't.
It's fair. I don't know how to
describe.
describe it either, but it makes perfect sense.
Like, why are you watching what I'm eating?
Yeah.
Mind your fucking business. Worry
Look at my
about your
face. Look at how
plate.
pretty I
Oh,
look. Don't be looking
here.
at what I'm eating.
Talking about food, here's my pet peeve on food.
Oh, go.
If I offer for you to taste what it is that I'm eating, like if we got different things, and I was like, oh, do you want to try?
Yeah.
You know, and I give you some, and
Yeah.
you don't fucking offer for me to try your food
That's
back.
rude.
I'm gonna be
That's rude.
upset because the only reason I offered is because your shit looked good, and I want to try your
Oh,
shit.
that's really funny. That's really funny. I wouldn't have offered.
What if they
just
say no?
because,
What if they're like
but-
no, and you still
Oh,
like?
that's true. What
Like
if they were like,
what if
no,
you
I'm
That's
offer
still,
and they're like,
it's
no,
still,
I don't
yo,
want any.
I offered, so you have to
So
offer.
even if they say no, the
Hell
person has to offer too.
I was nice enough
That's
to
wild.
offer.
crazy.
That's wild. The level of expectation over there.
That is kind of crazy.
Oh, I used to have a
But
friend.
wait, okay, good.
It's so funny.
I'm gonna like divert from the food
Okay.
thing. If you have more food things that you could say.
I mean, I was just going to talk about the way that I go about specifically like eating off of other people's plates, specifically yours, Juan. So
I feel like that's.
But I
different.
don't have a problem with you
Yeah.
getting
I
food
know, but
from
what
me
I'm
because
saying,
of
but
the nature of like how
I still
our
have like
friendship
an
and our relationship.
etiquette that I follow.
Yeah.
Because of the fact, like, I will wait a little bit into it and like let you enjoy your food first,
Yes.
so that I'm like not trying to eat the food like before you finish or
Yes.
anything.
That's what
And
I
then
mean,
like
is,
after a little while, I mean, before it used to be me like asking or something. Now it's just because of the nature of our relationship. Now it's just turned into me giving him like little doe eyes to be like.
Can I
And
have
he knows,
some?
and he knows what it means
Yeah,
at that
I
point.
won't even look at her. I'll just be like doing
He'll
something.
just see
and
me
I'll
looking
be
at
like,
him, and he's like, "Here you go."
I feel like it's so ingrained in me. Like even you, like I feel like I am so comfortable with you. Like we've
Yeah.
been friends for so fucking long. It's like it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like you're like my family. Like I wouldn't take off your plate. I would literally be like, "Hey, can I have some?" Like I would ask you if it looks good. I will ask you for sure. I would be like, "Hey, can I have a bite?" But I would ask you, like, it doesn't make. I feel like
Yeah, just
I
going
just
for
would
it is-
never take from someone.
And
That's
it's-
so
and it and,
rude.
and it's
That is
happened
so
and
rude.
it's happened multiple times. It wasn't just like
That-
one time.
But here's what I was thinking.
My
I was
friend
just
used